All right, hey, we might actually be live. Let me check to see if my signal is going here. We're going to do some lunchtime martial powers development for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition 2024. Give me a second here. I don't have the countdown with the snazzy music that I would normally use to do social media postings in the background. The snazzy music. Yeah, that volume's good. So I'm going to drop that down. So I'm just doing it raw and ready here with you guys. Live and direct. So give me a second here to grab the link. I've just got a couple social media posts that I need to make, and then we're going to get to work here. Let me try to amuse you with my origin story here. If you're new to the channel, you can always just, if you're catching this after the fact, you can just skip ahead a couple minutes if you want, and I'll see you after the bump. But for those that are new to the channel and are interested in what I got going on here, well, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online. And I'm creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition 2024. I've been a DM since 1987. I've been a Magic the Gathering enthusiast since 1994. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999, and I've been creating content on DMsGuild since 2018. The first stuff that I've ever built was the conversion from the from the Vancian magic system, spell slots, and the 8 schools of magic that are common to Dungeons and Dragons, and instead, when created a color mana spell point variant rule system using the 5 colors from Magic the Gathering for use in the 5e game engine. And that was a really successful project. There's a link down below to all the books that I have in that series. We're updating those for the 2024 rules so it remains current from going forward, and we can continue to revise individual planes and settings from there if more eventually come out. But the disparage was that still the martial caster divide existed, because casters have generally just more resources than marshals do. They can choose spells on a daily or per level basis, a growing stack of increasingly powerful options with an increasingly large pool of daily resources to expend them on. And I wanted to be able to provide something similar to that for all 13 classes so that everyone was basically working at the same level. That is the development of the martial power system. Hey, what's going on, Fernando? Just here to say, well, I'm glad you're here, man. Cheers. So we're going to be working on the Paladin today. Give me a hot second here to fix my screen. And then, let's see. For those that are new to the channel, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we're live in the future. Here's all the playlists for the martial power stuff that we've been doing. Here is the live Google Doc. It's going to be a read-only document for you, but this is the document that I use for development and that we use in the playtesting that we do on my Discord server on Saturdays. So if you're interested in this stuff, click in and look. Take a look at everything scaling from level 1 to 20. I run campaigns in D&D 5e from level 1 to 20 in about 270 hours. I'm going to make my phone quiet. Yeah, it takes about 270 hours for me to go from level 1 to 20 in a campaign, and then I just basically loop it. I've ran 4 full campaigns so far since the release. I started playing in 2016 and have ran 4 full campaigns since then. And so 2 of them have been using the the spell point variant rules that we're talking about right now. But this martial powers project is so that all the marshals and the half-casters are utilizing the same mana resource that full casters have in the spell point variant rules that I published. And just a cherry on top, here's all the rules for the spell point variant rules on DMsGuild. Here's a bunch of other books that I've made. They're all free preview. You can read them cover to cover. If you think they're cool, consider making a purchase to encourage similar behavior in the future. But right now, we're going to click into classes and... I'm a man on the mission, can you tell? I've got an hour today for my lunch to drill through some of this stuff, and we've been here before, but we shorthanded things. So this document that we have is becoming more and more fleshed out as we proceed, and a gap that we currently have in it is Paladin subclass information. So I want to fill those details in, and I figure since I'm going to do that, why not just burn some camera time and talk about stuff that I love, which is Magic the Gathering, spell points, martials, and 5e all together. good water. Man, I love the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, hey, man, what's going on?
We are building out, we're building out the Paladins today. So just so people know, the Marshals and Half-Casters are generally using the same scaffold for character creation. So this is basically giving us 2 gears. When the system gets implemented, you'll have full casters with their levels 1 to 9 progression from level 1 through 17. And then I also have at 19th level, the 10th level spell slot, and make Wish a 10th level spell, so you don't get access to Wish until 19th level as a full caster, to not only dissuade multi-class fish dipping, but also to set Wish apart as really the toppest of tiers. There's no reason why D&D can't have a 10th level spell. That space exists at the 19th level, so let's just fill it in with the Wish, and so upgrade that. So again, I've ran multiple campaigns from level 1 to 20, and once Wish gets into the equation, it starts to alter the flavor of the campaign a lot. So pushing that back until we're getting to epilogue, that's generally a good decision. I highly recommend it, whether you use spell points or not. Pushing Wish to a 10th level slot that you can just pick as an extra spell at 19th level feels very rewarding for sticking with your class from level 1 to that point. So the full caster class, we know what that is. It's already published in the books down below. The martial power progression works for both half casters and the marshals. All the marshals are the barbarian, the fighter, the monk, the rogue, and then we also have the half casters, the paladin, the ranger, the artificer, and then the warlock also gets goodies in here. But all of these basically are using this same scaffold with short rest mana, a lot of prepared powers that you have access to. I mean, 2024 really gives casters a shitload of spells, so we want to make sure that our marshals get a shitload of options too. And granted, this also includes fighter masteries, weapon masteries that you can prepare, as well as fighting styles that you can prepare. It also gives you access to just general feats without having prerequisites, but it also doesn't give you the stat gain. But it's a way, like if you think that like you should play a dumb fighter because complexity is difficult, you could instead just decide to, instead of picking a bunch of prepared powers that require you expending mana and figuring out how to pull the levers and spin the dials on mana usage, you could just pick a bunch of feats, and by the time you get to 4th level, you already have all the feats that you could possibly want, so you can just have stat gains, just improve your stats. You know, kind of like full casters do. Once they have combat casting, it's iffy whether a full caster needs another feat or not. They can just start dumping it into their primary ability score. So we want to allow marshals to have that same option. The power die is like a martial arts die or a bardic inspiration die. Or like a superiority die from the battle master. It's when you use a power that has a variable, you're going to roll the power die. It increases as you gain levels, and the martial power system uses the half casting progression system, 1 to 5 at 1, 5, 9, 13, 17. If you're familiar with the other works that I do, you know that there's a strong common theme behind half casting. That's also the levels where you're seeing proficiency bonuses. So half casting really is, I think, the strongest way to represent what 5e is. So I like to lean into that model when I can. Up front here, we have all the mechanics for how to generate mana, how to use your mana pool. You can sacrifice actions during your round in combat to generate free mana, but you can only do it in combat. So you have like the distinction between, like, if you're rolling initiative, that means that marshals are basically churning on a drip supply of free mana. If you give up attacks or movement or your bonus action, you can generate additional mana that allows you to just spam low-level stuff the way that people think that fighters and marshals should be able to do. But D&D has a difficult time replicating because there's the power balance between doing this for free infinitely versus scaling the amount of power, damage, impact you can have with your action economy. There's a real eternal struggle between balancing that equation. And in my opinion, the way to balance that, which we're finding is working and playtesting really well, is if you sacrifice action economy during your turn, with whatever you have left to do in your turn, you can punch it up with mana to do and build your character. Like if you want to be movement based, sacrificing your bonus action to be able to ramp things that you do while you move, like leave flame trails behind you or move through walls or teleport. These are all things that you can achieve with your move actions. And if you're sacrificing your bonus action when you do it, then the bonus action is generating free mana to allow you to modify your movement that way. Similarly, you can sacrifice attacks to gain free mana. So if you hit with your first attack, you can start sacrificing your remaining attacks to generate free mana so that the one hit that you choose to take, you ramp it up and you really do a lot of damage with it. And there's a lot of ways that you can basically build your own action loops. You can abandon all action economy during your turn to ramp up the number of reactions that you get per turn, so that you can't do anything during your turn, but you can spam the hell out of anybody that tries to take actions against you during their turns. So there's a really fun ability to really just create your own action economy, your own kind of kit of what kind of character you want to play. And you can blend all this in multi-classing. Since we're all using the same mana pool, you can lean into, I want these powers and I want these spells and I want to build out a character that'll give me access to both of them within the span of the campaign that we're playing. Optimize and have fun. It really returns that fun 3E build vibe. That like 3E was awesome because building characters with unique action sequences and synergies it was a ton of fun to do that. And most of that got stripped away in 5e. We have feats and subclasses and some multi-classing. But this power system allows us to really lean back into that deck building style of character creation that was introduced in 3E. Leave it to Wizards of the Coast to make Dungeons & Dragons a deck building game. They really did a good job with that. 3E in particular. 5e not so much. 5e didn't have enough flexibility to be able to like really kit out a deck sort of build for a character. But in 5e kind of opened the door again, but this system allows us to really lean back into being able to build unique characters with unique abilities and optimize them. Here's all the list of powers from each rank is equal to a spell level. It's 1 mana per level or per rank of power. And then we have each individual class build beyond all this stuff. There's like 170 different powers that we just zipped through. And martial power characters, we have the full scaffolding for the barbarians built out. All the subclasses that weren't picked up in 2024 are in here. And then we get through all the barbarian shit, and then we get into the fighter, the full scaffold for the fighter, all the archetypes that are in the 5e24 book, as well as all the subclasses that weren't adopted for 5e24 back in 514. We have replacement options for those. Same thing with the monk, that's been completed. All of this stuff is it's all kitted out, completely converted to the color mana system, including the Forsaken classes. As we did with the Ranger, the Artificer, and the Warlock, the one thing that we have not completed that sequence for is the Paladin. It's the one thing that I have not come back through, and we have very little information about the subclasses because honestly, don't need to change a ton of stuff about the subclasses. So that's kind of I want to make sure I come back through here and make sure that everything is actually built out properly. So that's what our endeavor is today. The Paladin changed significantly in 5e24 in that they limited Divine Smites to a bonus action, or rather when you hit with it. They did this with both the Paladin and the Ranger. When you hit with a spell, when you hit with an attack roll, you can use your bonus action to spend mana to ramp it with a spell-like effect. Like the Ranger can turn their arrow into a lightning bolt, or can turn one attack into a cloud of arrows that hits a whole bunch of people around the target. But these are all on-hit effects that are boosted by using your bonus action. And with the strike system that we have in here, we're using the 5e14 system of Paladins, which is when you hit with an attack, you can deal additional damage and cause an effect. At level 1, you're only using D6s, but the Paladin has the ability, if you expend your bonus action, instead of rolling 1d6, if you use your bonus action on top of when you hit and you spend your point of mana, you can use your bonus action to add an additional point of mana and increase it to a d8. So instead of normally spend like a fighter, a rogue, a barbarian, a monk, if they have strike powers in their prepared list, they could use like a tripping, like thundering strike. It does for 1 mana, you push a target 10 feet and deal d6 thunder damage on top of your weapon damage. But if a paladin uses divine smite, I can expend my bonus action, and in addition to dealing that 1d6 of damage, I can add another point of mana for free and upgrade it to a d8. So now I'm doing 2d8 damage on top of my weapon. So now, once per round, I am able to do a second level paladin. It's that second level paladin smite. At second level, just like a paladin in the 5e24 book, if I spend 1 point of mana out of my mana pool, I can do 2d8 points of damage, of radiant damage, and have a third die if it's undead or a demon. So that literally duplicates what the Paladin can do in 5e24, but also allows us to retain the flexibility of, I just hit with an attack, I'm just going to juice it a little bit. I'm just going to flick a point in, and I'm going to do an extra d6, and I have all these different strike effects that I can deal. Let's just go back and humor that conversation real quick. Let's stroll down here to the strike powers, and there's like 27 of them. Yeah, here you go. Strike. Yeah, there's 26 strikes. Dealing acid or necrotic damage that has repeating damage dice per round. Disarming strike ramps the saving throw for you to knock something out of people's hands, which comes in handy more often than you would think, especially if you're fighting humanoid type creatures. Distracting strike gives your allies advantage to hit. Flaming strike catches them on fire. They got to spend time to put themselves out. Freezing damage slows them down. Goading strike gives the target you hit disadvantage to attack anybody other than you. The start of a true control tank, which upgrades later on. Grappling strike, if I hit you with an attack, I can automatically initiate a grapple with you. Martial strike allows me to escalate the damage that I deal beyond the d6, like with the paladin can do. Looking at higher level stuff, life stealing strike, when I hit you, how much damage I do with my power dice, that becomes temporary hit points that I can add on to my character. So I can keep myself from being damaged by having that life steal on effect. Let's see, staggering strike. It's psychic damage and a constitution saving throw, or your target loses action economy. Knockout strike, I can incapacitate you for 4 mana. Banishing strike is like banishing smite. I can send you another plane of existence and you get incapacitated until you are able to return. There's a bunch of different strikes here that you can spend 1 point of mana at a time as you go through the system. So anyway, that's the basic idea there. Lay on hands can heal mana as well as actual damage. It takes 5 points of healing. 5 hit points equals 1 mana. So the paladin becomes a mana battery on top of a divine smite machine. And then you can also channel divinity. You can expend 2 points of mana to regain a use of your channel divinity, even though you get 1 channel divinity back on a short rest and all of them back on a long rest. Some channel divinities are really good, and it's worth spending, like blowing your entire mana pool just on doing channel divinity stuff. Some of the paladins are good like that, and opening that up as like, I don't want to cast spells, I just want to do shitloads of channel divinity. Cool. Spend some mana, you can do that. And then Aura Protection, of course, is Aura Protection. So that goes through like a fevered pitch walkthrough of some of the changes that we've made to the Paladin. So what we're going to do now is go visit the Oaths and make sure that we've got everything taken care of that's in here. So Oath of Devotion spells, like we don't have the spells listed. We should really have the spells listed for Oath of Devotion. So that way it's perfectly clear that, yeah, you get spells. So even though this is the martial power system, the Paladin comes with a stack of bonus spells baked in on top of any powers that you choose. So the Paladin can use both spells and powers, and they level up the same. They're both half casting progression. So anytime you finish whenever you finish a long rest, you can swap out a spell or power and continue to evolve. So if you want to lean into spells, you can. If you want to lean into powers, you can instead. Powers, again, you can use mana generated during combat for martial powers. Actual spells require spell points to be spent. Like, for example, Guiding Bolt is a spell that Paladins can potentially get access to. And it's a first level spell, so it's 1 mana. It does 46 damage and gives advantage on the next attack. That's something that you should not be able to do for free ever. It's way too much action economy. So that's like one example. So let's see. So we're gonna go with level 3. Level 3 is devotion spells. Let's see. The following spells are added to your list of prepared spells without counting towards the maximum number you can have prepared. That's not the best language, but that's why I hire an editor. Level spells. This is going to be 3, 5, 9, 13, 17. And I'll just be able to duplicate this for each. Let's just call it oath spells. So I can just add this scaffold to each of them. Let's do it like that. Oath of Glory. Oath of the Ancients. Oath of Vengeance. And then we'll have to add the Forsaken classes later. I think we can potentially get through these today, which means when we come back on Friday, we can start digging through the Forsaken Oaths and get the Paladin up to speed with the rest of the team. So 3rd level, Protection from Evil and Good, Shield of Faith. I'm just going to Protection from Good and Evil, Shield of Faith. Just going to add these in. Aid, Zone of Truth. Aid, Zone of Truth. 9 is Beacon of Hope. Beacon of Hope. Dispel Magic. God, it's a useful spell. Freedom of Movement. Guardian of Faith. Commune and Flame Strike. There. And then we have Sacred Weapon. When you take the attack action, you can expend 1 use of your Channel Divinity to imbue 1 melee weapon that you are holding with positive energy. When you take the attack action, you can expend 1 use of your Channel Divinity to imbue 1 melee weapon that you are holding with positive energy for 10 minutes or until you use this feature again. You add your channeling ability modifier to attack rolls you make with that weapon, and you can choose to deal radiant damage. The weapon also emits bright light in a 20-foot radius, dim foot 20 or more feet. You can end the effect early, no action required. This effect also ends if you aren't carrying the weapon. Cool. And then, so that is current. Some of this stuff is current. Some things I've already resolved and don't need to change, but other things didn't get modified at all, so had been ignored. So I want to make sure that we're thoroughly dealing with everything. Aura of Devotion. You and your allies have immunity to the charm condition while in the aura protection. If a charmed ally enters the aura, that condition has no effect on the ally while there. I'm going to crack open this. You and your allies have immunity to the charm condition while in your aura of protection. If a charmed ally enters the aura, that condition has no effect on that ally while there. I like that language. 7 and then 15, Smite of Protection. Magical Smite now radiates protective energy whenever you cast Divine Smite. You and your allies have half cover while in your aura protection. The aura has this benefit until the start of your next turn. Whenever you sacrifice your bonus action to increase the damage of a strike power, whenever you sacrifice your bonus action to use Divine Smite, to use the Divine Smite feature, there. Good. Whenever you sacrifice your bonus action to use the Divine Smite feature, you and your allies have half cover while in your aura of protection. The aura has this benefit until the start of your next turn. Perfect. And then 15 is 20, Holy Nimbus. As a bonus action, you can imbue your aura protection with holy power, granting the benefits below for the next 10 minutes or until the end of the turn. No action required. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. You can also restore the use of it by expending 5 mana, no action required. Holy Ward. You have advantage on any saving throw you are forced to make by a fiend or an undead. Radiant damage. Whenever an enemy starts its turn in the aura, that creature takes radiant damage equal to your channeling ability modifier plus your proficiency bonus. And sunlight. The aura is filled with bright light. That is sunlight. Okay, cool. And that technically resolves that. So, bravo. Bravo us. This might be easy to do. Let's kick on down to the Oath of Glory and look at first at our glory spells. Guiding Bolt. Speaking of Guiding Bolt, Heroism. So you just automatically add these to your list, and then you can pick up. By 3rd level, you've got 6 powers, which could be feats or weapon masteries or fighting styles or additional spells or powers if you want. Any of those things are perfectly fair game. And these are on top of those. Enhance ability, magic weapon, haste, protection from energy, compulsion, freedom of movement, legend lore, Yolanda's regal presence. And see, like here I just have like Peerless Athlete is unchanged. That's just that, honestly, that's not good enough. I need to add language there. Like we need to, like I don't need you flipping between books. So I'm just going to grab this and see if we need to modify it. It says that we had no changes. Let's see if that's true. As a bonus action, you can expend 1 use of your channel divinity to augment your athleticism for 1 hour. You have advantage on strength, athletics, and dexterity acrobatics checks. And the distance of your long and high jump increases by 10 feet. This extra distance costs movement as normal. Cool. When you use the Paladin Smite feature, there, let's do that. You can Distribute temporary hit points to creatures of your choice within 30 feet of yourself, which can include you. The total number of temporary hit points equals the result of the... that's too much. Equals the result of... equal the result of 2 power dice rolled plus the max rank of power gained as a paladin, divided among the chosen creatures however you like. Is that how it works? Here it's what do you get? Inspiring Smite. It's 2d8 plus your paladin level divided amongst creatures. So we're going to upgrade that to 2 power dice, which could be it could be a d6 at 3, d8, d10, or even possibly a d12, depending on how you build your character. So we can give you 2 rolls of power dice, plus your paladin level. Yeah, it was just roll all your dice and you get that. But it's too much because at 5th level you could do 3 dice. You could do 3d8s, and then if you added to it, it becomes ridiculous. If you crit, it's super stacked. We need to set we need to set a cap on that. And so I kind of poo-pooed what the damage was initially, but after playtesting with a lot more damage, the temporary hit points are thick. So God bless the playtesting team for helping find flaws in the system. That's why we playtest. I don't care how long it takes for us to build this thing. When it's done, it's gonna be good. Ooh, Aura of Alacrity. Let's grab you. Yeah, this is gonna be a really, really good system when it's done. Aura of Alacrity. And we're really just getting into real nitty-gritty language and playtesting now. And we're at 5th level. It's going really well. We're going to keep running playtesting till level 10 inside the mega dungeon that I've been building. And after we get to level 10, we're going to start playing Mage Tower in teams of 3 at 11th, 13th, 15th, 17th, 19th, and 20th level. Okay. Period. In addition, whenever an ally enters your aura of protection for the first time on a turn or starts their turn there, the ally's speed increases by 10 feet until the end of their next turn. Cool. 15. Glorious Defense. For now, right now, we're just doing cutty-pasty language. And we'll be updating all of this to be written our own way so that we're compliant with DMsGuild rules of not duplicating, like cutting and pasting content. We can have duplicate content. We just have to word it differently. Just like you can publish something that's on DMsGuild can be published someplace else. As long as wherever else it is that you publish it, it words everything completely different. So you're not actually duplicating the copywritten information that is part of the agreement of publishing on DMsGuild. Again, DMsGuild can't restrict ideas or mechanics, but they can restrict the way that you express them. So you have to figure out how to say things differently to remain compliant. My hair is looking particularly good today. Hey-o. Glorious Defense. You turn defense and when you... Let's just go with that. When you or another creature you can see within 10 feet of you is hit by an attack roll, you can take a reaction to grant a bonus to the AC's armor class against the attack, potentially causing it to miss. The bonus equals your channeling ability modifier, which could be charisma, strength, or wisdom. If the attack misses, you can make one attack with a weapon against the attacker as part of the reaction if the attacker is within range of your weapon's attack. When you or another creature that you can see within 10 feet of you is hit by an attack roll, the bonus equal your channeling ability. So this works with range. So if my ally's within 10 feet and they're shot by somebody who's 100 feet away, if I'm carrying a bow, I can boost their armor class, and if the attack misses, I can then fire an arrow back at that target 100 feet away. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your... And you'll regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Times equal to your channeling ability modifier, or rest, and you can regain one use by expending 2 mana, no action required. And then 20, Living Legend. As a bonus action, you gain the benefits below for 10 minutes. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish the last. You can also restore your use of it by expending 5 mana, no action required. Charismatic. You are blessed with an otherworldly presence and have advantage on all... Wait. Yeah, within 10 feet, you can use a reaction. Okay. Charisma, you are blessed with the otherworldly presence to have advantage on all charisma checks. Saving throw reroll. If you fail a saving throw, you can take a reaction to reroll it. You must use this new roll. And then unerring strike. Once on each of your turns, when you make an attack roll with a weapon and miss, you can cause that attack to hit instead. Whoa. Once on each of your turns, when you make an attack roll with a weapon and miss, you can cause that attack to hit instead. Okay. And that's all there is to that. So let's kick on down to Oath of the Ancients, and then we'll have Oath of Vengeance. How are we doing on time? We're doing really good. I think we're gonna crack through this. So on Friday, yeah, I think we'll finish the book here, and then on Friday we'll come back. We'll do the Forsaken classes, and it should be pretty successful. So spells, Ensnaring Strike. Ensnaring Strike, speak with animals. Ensnaring Strike doesn't exist. It's been replaced. Goading Strike, Freezing Strike. What's Oath of the Ancients? Distracting Strike, Freezing Strike, Goading Strike, Grappling Strike, Martial Strike. You get Martial Strike for free as a Paladin. It's just a part of the Divine Smite feature. Repositioning Strike, Shocking Strike, Sweeping Strike, Thundering Strike, Tripping Strike. Following spells are added to your prepared list. Speak with animals. Let's keep moving. Misty Step. Moonbeam. Plant growth. Protection from energy. Ice storm. Stone skin. Commune with nature. Tree stride. I'm getting a real earthy nature vibe going on here. You catching that? So let's find an earthy nature vibe sort of first rank strike power. Freezing Strike's not a bad contender. Shocking. Thundering Strike. I'd say freezing strike, flaming strike, freezing strike, and thundering strike are probably the best options here. Let's look at the rest of the list. I think thundering strike makes sense. Let's do that. Because we replace the smite and ensnaring powers spells with powers, generally. Nature's Wrath. How's this worded? As a magic action, you can spend 1 use of your channel divinity to conjure spectral vines around nearby creatures. Each creature of your choice that you can see within 15 feet of yourself must succeed a strength saving throw or have be restrained condition for 1 minute. A restrained creature repeats the save at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself if on a success. There's the aura. Aura of warding. Do we need to make any changes? I think I started this 2 years ago. My shit takes for fucking ever to publish, man. But when it does, it's solid. I can't complain about the time taken because the quality only improves over time. It's like a stew, slow cooked. Ancient magic lies so heavily upon you that it forms an Eldritch Ward, blunting energy from beyond the material plane. You and your allies have resistance to necrotic, psychic, radiant damage while in the aura of protection. Wow, that's really good. That really is just ridiculously good. When you are reduced to 0 hit points and not killed outright, you can drop to 1 hit point instead and regain a number of hit points equal to 3 times your paladin level. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Yeah. And then Elder Champion. Diminished Defiance. Enemies in the aura have disadvantage when you force them to make saving throws. At the start of each of your turns, you regain 10 hit points. And whenever you cast a spell that has a casting time of an action, you can cast it as a bonus action instead. Whew, God, that's so good. It's so good. I love it. Okay, last one, Oath of Vengeance. We're sitting at 43 minutes. Looks like we're going to hit our hour mark. It's going to be a short session today. But like I said, we'll come back on Friday and we'll do the subclasses from the Forsaken subclasses from 2014. Oath of Vengeance. Let's go. Bane, Hunter's Mark. The Ranger has Mark of Prey, which is a massive upgrade from Hunter's Mark, but Hunter's Mark can still exist as a spell. There's nothing wrong with it. Hold Person, Misty Step. God, that's a really good person. Misty Step. That's a great spell. Haste, Protection. Oh, man. Tired. Banishment, Dimension Door. Hold monster and scrying. I love scrying. Hold monster, scrying. Oh yeah, we got a whole lot of neglect going on. Vow of Enmity. Enmity. Vow of Enmity. Enemies like these, who needs friends? Vow of Enmity. You take the attack action, you can spend one use of your channel divinity to utter a vow of enmity against a creature that you can see within 30 feet of yourself. You have advantage on attack rolls against that creature for 1 minute or until you use this feature again. If the creature drops to 0 hit points before the vow ends, you can transfer the vow to a different creature within 30 feet of yourself. No action required. Good enough. Duh. Random windows. Relentless Avenger. Copy. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, you can reduce the creature's speed to 0 until the end of the current turn. You can then move up to half your speed as part of the same reaction. This movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. If you build an opportunist paladin, you can have multiple reactions. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, you can reduce the creature's speed to 0 until the end of the current turn. Until the end. Yeah, current turn. That's because you can hit creatures with opportunity attacks during your turn, not theirs. If you use forced movement and punt them out of your space, you can hit them with opportunity attack as they leave your own space, which would trigger Relentless Avenger. So you can punt them out, reduce their speed to 0, and you can move with it. That's pretty good. This movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. Yeah, I'm good with that. That's a cool action loop. I'm going to make sure somebody makes a Vengeance Paladin at level 7. We're currently level 6, but at level 7, I want to make sure we have one of those to see how well that opportunity, and build an opportunist to see how well that works. Because, I mean, I know it works. I know it's going to work well. I just want to see it. Immediately after a creature under the effect of your Vow of Enmity hits or misses with an attack roll, you can take a reaction to make a melee attack against that creature if it's within range. Yeah, fair enough. Flight, prideful presence. As a bonus action, you gain +5. Flight, you sprout spectral wings on your back, fly 60 feet, and can hover. Is that true? Frightful Aura. Whenever an enemy starts its turn in the Aura protection, that creature must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw or have the frightened condition for 1 minute or until it takes any damage. Attack rolls against the frightened creatures have advantage. All right. Well, then when we pick this up, we're going to go with the Forsaken subclasses. Give me a second here to buzz on down here. There we go. Go back up here. What do we got left? I'm gonna cut stream for the day here pretty shortly. It's doing wrap up now. So let's go to who we got. Oath of Conquest, Oath of Redemp, Oath of the Crown, Oath of the Watchers, Oathbreaker. I think Oath of the Open Sea is Critical Role. Doesn't seem like any of these other than Oath of the Sea is from Forbidden Material. Yeah. Looks like this one is permitted as well. And yeah. Okay, cool. These are all good. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 more subclasses to go in the Forsaken list. When we come back on Friday, we'll probably get through maybe 3 of them. It's going to take a little bit more time to update the Forsaken classes because they haven't been jazzed like the 2024 have already been for the 2024 book. So I anticipate getting through 2 or 3 of these on Friday, and then Tuesday next week we'll finish up and resolve these. So, but that's it for now. We do game design. We do a lunch break game design on Tuesdays and Fridays. We do a design night on Mondays and Thursday nights for a few hours. We've been building the Bastion campaign supplement. And then weekday mornings, Monday through Friday, we do artwork for whatever the next thing is that we're publishing. And right now that is going to be the Eberron adventure that we created and play tested, Crystals of Mabar. So you can see all the artwork on that getting built out. And then Saturday morning, we do play testing on my Discord channel. So if you guys are interested, there's a link to the Discord down below. Like and subscribe to see all the stuff that I got coming through. Also down below are a bunch of books that I've already created. They're all free preview. Check them out. If you think they're cool, consider picking them up. You can support me on Patreon. Thanks a lot. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Later.